Welcome back to the Retro Handhelds podcast, your home to the last week in handheld news, custom firmware developments, and stories from around the emulation scene. I'm your host, Stubbs, joined once again by my co-host, Mr. Rob, the Retro Tech Dad, Aish, and our special guest, Shem from RetroBreeze is back.
Hello.
Shem, welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me. It's been a long time.
It's been way too long. Last time we had you on, we had just a number of debacles, right? I know we had a good Windows conversation, and jog my memory, something about RGB 10. No, it was an X28, right? Was that the?
I liked the X28. Was that
the
the
X28?
story?
No,
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. There's some sort of emulation
which
debacle. We were trying to get something to happen on your end.
He hated the Loki and
Yeah.
And we're like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. We waited like 30 minutes.
The RGB 10 Max 3.
Oh,
Yes.
that one.
Yes. Yes.
Which humiliated me live on the internet. So that's great.
It wasn't. I'm really sorry for bringing it back up. Then I thought it was entertaining and wildly awesome. Personally, I thought it was like a fun mini game that we were trying to make this happen.
And then sorry, Aish, go.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
The best part was after the stream when it crashed twice.
Yeah.
No, right.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
We should have put out like a publication immediately following, like just to let everybody know it did crash eventually. Yeah. Well, guys, it's been another crazy week in the emulation scene. We have a lot to go over. We're going to talk again about Yuzu. We're going to talk about a number of emulators that are just in a mass exodus from the Play Store and other places around the internet. And then we're going to talk to our friend Shem here and catch up with him. And if you have any questions for Shem, please leave them in the live chat, and we will try to get to as many as we can. And we're going to get into a little bit of shenanigans. I think it's a Monday. It's daylight savings time. I'm as tired that I can't even talk. I am tired as hell, and still recovering. I was up till 4 working on the X2S video. How about you all? How's your content creation schedules going this week?
It's 1 a.m. right now.
Brutal.
Absolutely
brutal.
I have a massive backlog that I need to tackle this week, and it's mostly mini PC, so this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
I'm also in mega backlog mode.
Yeah.
Mega backlog mode. Yeah.
I think I need to take a step back from mini PCs.
Yeah. You have those obligations. You put your head down, you get the videos done, but then you got to change it up, right? With just a fun passion video in between.
Yeah. That was my last one, and it was just
palate cleanse.
Brutal. It just completely tanked. Bad news.
My last three videos just were not happy, and I'm like, man, YouTube's in a different mood right now.
Mini
I think
PCs are weird.
And mini PCs especially are tough subjects, it seems, especially in our niche.
You have to really nail the title and thumbnail, I noticed, because we had one that I made months ago, and it had 1,000 views. They didn't move from there, nothing. It was just pretty much a dead video. And I think 2-3 weeks ago, I decided to mess around with the title just a little bit and do a new thumbnail. It's up to 3,700 views now over the last 3 weeks, where for months it was just at 1,000 with nothing. Yeah.
Okay. You gotta put the time in. You gotta wait, see if it grows legs, starts walking. YouTube's a tough game.
It is.
But okay, let's dive into it. So right now, number one thing is still really the Yuzu thing. So Tropic Haze, the company that was sued by Nintendo, agreed to pay the $2.4 million, and the judge has signed the final document. So hey, guess what? Yuzu is officially done. Are you guys surprised? Are you shocked?
No.
Nope. No.
Not a single thing was changed from the proposal to the judgment. They were like,
no,
yep.
I think they pretty much knew what they got themselves into, but it seems at least that they kind of prepared for this to happen down the road by setting up a separate company, kind of protecting themselves as much as possible. I think most likely the developers are going to be fine. They knew Nintendo had them.
Yeah, they were an LLC, so they should be protected from that. So I mean, at least they did that. That was the right move to do there.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of interesting just takes on this from people who are completely again on Nintendo's side, like, good, way to go. Those dumb pirates. I mean, Shem, I know I posted a link prematurely on Twitter this week, and I think it was you or Joe, you were called out like, hey, that's basically fake news about, what was it? Oh man, I'm having a daylight savings time moment here.
For the record, I have no idea what you're talking about so far.
No, I can see why people would be on Nintendo's side, but part of it because kind of basically profiting from early access was the biggest biggest bad thing they did is, and I think that's really what got him into trouble. So from just a community standpoint, that was kind of not the smartest move by them, but I can understand why financially they wanted to do something like that.
It was the fact that Nintendo has all of your IP addresses and has all of your information.
That's right. Yeah, I read about that.
What are they going to do with that information? Supposedly, it was tagged. The data was tagged somehow. I forgot the term for it now, but they're able to basically have that data and they could act on it or not. But the idea is that probably that doesn't matter and don't worry about it.
I'd love to see Nintendo act on that. That would be very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I highly doubt anything will happen from it. I mean,
no.
Not the MPAA with suing for torrents of movies and things. It's a different sort.
I just feel like, I think that with the Tears of the Kingdom pre-release thing and the Patreon, I feel like this was coming. Like, there was no way this wasn't going to happen. But all this data stuff, it kind of sucks that your data was collected sometimes without you quite knowing what it was. That's always awful. But are they going to launch a lawsuit against like millions of people? No, it's just not going to happen.
No, you got to pick your battles. There's really nothing from them to gain on that except making a lot of people really mad and wasting a lot of money.
Yeah, and how can you prove that the copy of the game that you were running was not your own backup, etc., etc.? Like, it's just impossible.
No, they're most likely just trying to discourage people, and they're moving on to a new system next year. It's what Nintendo does. Like, even when they move on from the system towards the end of the life of it, they still like clamp down on it. Even we were still getting updates for the 3DS and Wii U like a couple of years ago. Yeah, just for them, like, nah, you're not gonna pirate this. Boom.
Even Sony rolled out a PS3 firmware update like 2 weeks ago or something.
Except Sony's like, hey, you can download this if you want to. Like, part of getting the emulator running is like go to the Sony website, download this, and then come back here.
Yeah, you have to go to Sony to get part of the thing. And there you see that Sony devs are working with PCSX2 devs in some sort of non-hostile relationship. Like, they're helping get emulation for the PS2 onto the PS5. I saw that today.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
It's like complete opposite of Nintendo.
It's years, if not. How long has like PCSX2 been around?
Probably a good 15 years, I think.
Yeah, I was a child, definitely.
Exactly.
I mean,
like,
I was just starting college when it first dropped.
Yeah, like, you have to take advantage of that. Like, if Nintendo did the smart thing, they would contact like the Dolphin devs and work with them too. Like, hey, let's get this on the Switch and let's get this everywhere, like a virtual console type thing. But they're never gonna do it. Other companies, like even Sega's done it before. Like, oh, you made a ROM hack? We're gonna hire you.
Yeah, and I also think that Nintendo are the only company in the world that can boohoo and cry about emulation and all that, and yet release the absolute worst possible version of Super Mario 64 that's ever hit a console in history on the Switch, and it still sells gajillion copies.
Yeah,
like,
well, do you remember when Switch Online came out and the N64 emulator was broken? Like, Ocarina of Time was just messed up. Like, dude, we've been emulating this game for years now. You could have just looked at what was going on and see what's happening, but no, they have to do it their way.
Yeah, not to mention the like massively improved PC port, which is, or Android, Ship of Harkinian is just insanely good.
It's so good.
So stupidly good.
Too good.
Yeah. I just beat Ocarina of Time like that. Actually, at the end of December, January. Right? No, I did. I just played it. I was like, no, because Ocarina of Time is one of those games that I just go back to like every other year just to play it for me. So I just enjoyed it, and I played it on the Steam Deck. It was a great time. 60 FPS, 3DS mods, everything.
Yeah, so amazing.
Gumby X says or asks, didn't you guys say we should have supported Yuzu via Patreon? Why the sudden change? Did we say that? I don't think so. Saying to support Yuzu via Patreon.
I mean, probably back in the day.
I'm sure.
We've said support devs over Patreon, like Black Seraph and all that.
I'm sure we've
Just
gotten pretty excited over Yuzu in the past, for sure.
The issue isn't people supporting a developer over Patreon. It's the fact that they accepted payment over Patreon. It's not your fault. It's theirs. In a blunt, to put it bluntly.
Yeah, also, the whole thing precedence that was set from this is probably that if developers are going to get into this kind of space with emulation, they're probably not going to be doing any kind of Patreon or charging for anything. They're going to be steering clear of any kind of payment.
Yeah. Also, I think there's a difference between supporting someone on Patreon and supporting someone on Patreon to get around a paywall. Like there's you could still have that Patreon and still have your stuff open up for everything versus like having it on Patreon, but no, you can only get this thing if you give us X amount of money. So I don't know if we've said it in the past. I'm sure we might have, and if we did, that's on us. But yeah, there's a difference there.
For my 2 cents, I think this whole thing will blow over in like a month or two, and then you know, give it a year. There'll be more emulators of all kinds. Or
it's already happening. We've got Suyu, Yuzu, whatever. We got a whole bunch of new stuff potentially popping up now.
Right, and that's the next topic is Suyu. So guess what? There's a new Switch emulator on the block for Windows, anyways, and this is called Suyu. Just the best name that became real. And there were other ones.
I can't believe they ran with it.
There was also like I forgot some of their names. Yuhu, Zuhu. God, Nuzu. Yeah, there were some forks that quickly died off within days. And now we have Suyu, which not only has Yuzu's functionality, but they're going to develop the code, I guess, in such a way to remove any kind of encryption. We'll see if that's true. So it's completely legal.
They also added the actual Switch interface
launcher,
here.
Right?
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah. Yep. And it does a darn sight better than Vita 3K does. No offense, I love Vita 3K, but man, that user interface is just...
It looks...
It's getting better.
Rough emulator.
It's rough right now. I mean, it's
a work in progress.
It's really cute. It's really cute.
Can we full screen that one? It's I mean, it looks accurate to me for what the Switch is. I mean, that's just...
Well, it's exciting because they're adding functionality to
the sounds.
Yeah, the sounds and everything.
Yeah, the sounds, everything. I mean,
it launches games.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing with Nintendo. Those little sounds, like even if I'm a little upset at Nintendo right now, just hearing that sound just makes you feel good. Like something like you're about to have a good time. Yeah.
Nostalgia drop you get real quick.
Yeah.
Like the Wii menu as well.
Yeah.
Wii channels and all that is
like
great.
This just makes me want to play Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah,
I do miss the character of the Wii and the 3DS and
the Mii.
That. You know, in a way, like the Switch is a bit closer to the DSi in its like presentation. But you know, the Vita also captured that magic. Like when you go onto the Vita and you hear that sound and all the bubbles come in, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
The original PS1 with that
PS1
really dramatic intro.
Yeah.
It's great.
And it's not quite as good on like JelOS or something when you turn on your device and it just blasts out like the Mortal Kombat theme at full volume. It's a bit of a different
times are different. You try to emulate that nostalgic thing in whatever way you can, and you still know it's not 100%. So you try to trick yourself.
Yeah.
So great, Suyu. Keep developing, keep working. We'll see where this goes, and we'll report back on it. Also, there were more emulators that we lost this week. This really sucks. We lost Aether SX2 for good. It was dropped from the Google Play Store, so now the dev is officially saying, hey, I'm done. It looks like DuckStation might also be on the way.
Yeah.
Nether SX2 is really the way to go. So you're going to take a version of 3.668. You're going to patch it, and Russ has a video coming out that's going to cover that. And, you know, check that out and learn how to make your own version of this app. I've never done it, so I'm excited to learn along and try this out. But PS2 emulation isn't dead yet. Just
to be fair, the
easy.
The Aether SX2 version that was on the Play Store was not the one you wanted anyway. So it's not
the
biggest loss, honestly.
Yeah.
So.
No.
For people who didn't know that, you know, they're downloading that, getting ads, getting slowdown. It's not the most optimized version. That one not too bad. Pizza Boy was another one that we lost. and that one is a lot of fans for it. That is an older standalone for what GBC, GBA.
Yeah, they had a few Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. Actually, no, I think it was just those two, but there was a regular and a pro version. There was a paid and a free one. Yeah.
Yep.
It had the cute interface, right?
Yeah,
where it kind of looked like the console.
Yeah, that one, which I was never that big of a fan of. I felt like it was a little harder to get around and just load games. It looked good on the phone, but
I was already hooked on RetroArch by the time it came out, and so by then it was too late. I'd already used GBA and GBSP.
I was not a RetroArch fan for a long time.
Same.
I didn't like it. It was weird. Yeah, so I was all standalones until after the Retro Pocket 2, I think, is when I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna try to learn this. And once you do, like now, I love RetroArch, but originally, I wasn't feeling it.
I'm hoping that Lemuroid will be okay, because that's my if I need to really quick just throw some games and play them on an Android device, just Lemuroid.
Yeah, Lemuroid's good. I've got too used to all of the little features from RetroArch. So going into Lemuroid, I kind of missed that. Like not being able to set a hide or fast forward above 2 is kind of annoying on certain games. Yeah. So little things like that. But yeah, if for simplicity use, Lemuroid's pretty good.
I also want to call out to Michael Benny says, "Hey Stubbs, come on. Joey did that Nether SX video today." So I guess Joey has a video out on Nether SX and how to do that method already. So watch Joey's video and enjoy Russ's too. Sorry about that, Joey. I need to watch that as well.
It's not that hard to do.
It's hard to keep up with everybody.
Yeah, it is. It takes like 5 minutes to patch it, and just patch both of them. I don't think because each version has benefits. Like if you want to play certain games like Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance and Champions of Norad, you want to use the 4248 version. If you want to play a lot of the other games, 3668. I always get their numbers wrong. I'm hoping soon they can, if there's a way like merge both or let us install both. So, but right now you gotta kind of pick one or the other. For most people, 3668 or Classic is probably going to be the one to go with.
Yeah, that's usually my go-to version.
Yeah. Because if you want to play Sly Cooper and all of those, 3668 works better. But if you want anything that runs the Snow Peak engine, so Championship NORAD, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, it's like 6 games total, I think, run better on that version. Everything else pretty much runs better on Classic or 3668. But you can't install both right now, so that kind of sucks.
Well, you also saw that Drastic as well. They announced, hey, it's free. So everyone's like, yay, hooray.
That's another one.
Download it. But caveat, it's going to be leaving soon. So go ahead and grab it right now.
Blessing in disguise.
I bought it the day before it went free.
So. Oh man, I bought it a long time ago, so I definitely got like my money's worth. But being that it's been closed source, now that he's gonna take it off, he's actually gonna release the source, which he said he was gonna do a while back. So hopefully now it does happen. I'm hopeful like Melon DS and some other, or even Drastic for like Linux can pick up some of that and improve it, because even to this day, Drastic is the best one. The only thing it's really missing is retro achievements.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think a lot of this, with AetherFX, it's a bit different, but with something like Drastic, it's more or less complete. You can play 100% of the games 100% perfectly. So I'm okay with it. On
almost everything.
Yeah.
Even the RP2, I remember playing the harder to run, if there's really such a thing nowadays, like DS games like Dragon Quest V can be a little bit rough in certain areas. Ran great on the 2S, on the 2, I'm sorry. With that low power, because Drastic is just that good.
Yeah.
I was enjoying it with my X2S yesterday.
Yep.
Nice.
Still works well.
In fact, actually, I was playing Dragon Quest V the other day. I posted it. Yeah.
Such a good game.
Beautiful.
I wish you could add retro achievements. That's the one thing. Yeah, we're going to talk about Toriyama here in a minute too.
I know.
All right, but the last note on this is the other one we heard about was Strato. So Strato is a Android Nintendo Switch emulator, up and coming. One of their lead devs left the project, and so people are wondering, are they dead? Are they doomed? Is the project carrying on? And so far, from what we understand, they're still carrying on. They're still doing their thing, just not without links.
Did Strato ever work, or was it ever released?
Not yet. No, it was based off Skyline. So part of the team that decided to keep going, at least this is my understanding. I don't know if things changed. Decided to go with Strato and start development from there. So I think a lot of the actual like CPU code is pretty much ready to go. There's just a couple of things they need to finish up. So while it does suck that the lead dev is stepping away, it doesn't mean that the project is just going to stop. Where most of the background work is already kind of been done.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Strato will continue on. I mean, I think just even from the way the message was worded, it sounds like he's finishing up what he was working on. He'll be handing it over so that it can continue and make more progress. I still think Strato will happen.
Yeah. I mean, if it's based off the Skyline code, they already had native code execution and a bunch of stuff working in the background, like even before Yuzu was out and had that going. So Strato should be pretty good once it comes out. Hopefully, it can actually be a little bit better than what Yuzu had.
So maybe we'll have Suyu on x86 and we'll have Strato on Android.
Yep.
We'll be set. We just need Linux.
Good.
And don't forget, Ryujin said they were going to do an Android port too.
No, we have Ryujinx on Linux right now too. Why everyone always forgets about Ryujinx, including me. Because I don't know why either. Nothing's wrong with it.
Smart about it. They're like keeping
they're
their head
under
low.
the radar. Like, I'm not going to say the name
for
anymore.
sure. Also, on the Android side, Skyline is still a thing.
Yeah,
Skyline is still there. It works.
Just saying, Yep.
One thing a lot of
on
people
the internet
are
somewhere.
Yeah, it's around Skyline 69. Nice. But one thing a lot of people forget about Ryujinx is that within there was multiple times where a game would come out and within like the first few days, Ryujinx had better compatibility than what Yuzu had. So Ryujinx has always been like neck to neck as far as performance. It's just for some reason everybody just kind of gravitated towards Yuzu.
Marketing, I guess, which was around it.
Yep. Prettier interface because Ryujinx does make you feel like you're doing something you shouldn't. With that, like there's a prompt running behind like the main screen, like,
right?
Doing you're like, should I be doing this?
Cool, I'm a hacker now.
You're the bad boy. That's good. That's not the only thing that's leaving though. JelOS said bye-bye to the RK3566 chipset and Powkitty in general, and a few other devices that are maybe lesser known. But Fute posted on their Discord and just let everybody know, said, hey, we're done with this crap. Get the hell out of here. No. He wrote a long explanation there, sort of laying out what the whole thing is. And I don't know, how do you feel? I know, Shem, you were kind of just distraught with this one.
Nope, not at all. In fact, I was the opposite. I think you're thinking of other people. It's sad, of course, but the thing is, I think the reasons were good. I think what they said is fine. JelOS is open source, right? So if you're upset, contribute, fork it, make your own. I think that, I'm thankful for all the cool devices that had JelOS that ran well, like the RGB 30. I still got it on mine. It's fine. I do think removing the old releases was kind of rough. But, it's an open source emulation station front end based Linux system. There will be others no matter what. And also I think it's really important to remember that there are people doing this for free, using hundreds of hours of their own time. And I think it's really important to keep that in mind. I liked JelOS a lot, but I'm not.
You're not
particularly upset that they're
I liked it a lot on my
flowing
600. Like on a budget Windows device, what Michael's saying is probably the biggest loss, I'd say. I think on the Linux side, there's lots more options. I think for something very lightweight.
Yeah, actually, the Loki was another huge loss with JelOS. So the Loki Max was absolutely awesome with JelOS, but hey,
this isn't the first time they do something like this. Though
a little bit of depression around it.
No.
Totally good.
He's in denial. It's okay. But you guys remember last year?
Arch on my Loki. I'm totally good.
I tend to gravitate towards ArcOS if it's available on devices, only because I like being able to manage all my settings inside RetroArch and not having to worry about, the settings in RetroArch and it's in the front end. Which one's the one that takes precedence? That stuff kind of drives me crazy. So it's not one I go to always, but it was really handy to have on like the X55. Of course, RGB 30, and you have so many awesome options for the RGB 30. RGB 30 owners, you're going to do just fine. It's people who have the X55. That's the only OS, I believe, on there, right? Besides maybe an Android build.
Oh, I think so.
Oh, Android build I was rough. I messed
bad
just for fun.
Don't do that. No.
But if it's all you have, I mean, you can still use, old. You just won't be getting those.
Most things are still going to work on your current version of Linux. So I'm sorry, I'm jealous. So people are going to be fine.
And JelOS said they're going to do a final version for some devices. And so it's, there you go. You really don't need to have any more improvements because it's the final state of the software as far as they're concerned. And again, you're right. Someone can fork it. Someone can come along.
Which already happened.
Unofficial has happened. And I'm sure we'll see it again. So it's not all doom and gloom here. It's just, they want to do what they're passionate about and kind of take it a little bit slower on this, which makes sense. Yeah, and there you go. And Michael, good point. I'm a dev. Trust me, it's fun until it's not. And that is so...
Yeah, and we also need to remember what happened to Aether SX2. This is one guy doing it in his spare time or whatever, got, allegedly got abused for it and just said, okay, bye.
Right, he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Shem, you're a dev too, right? So you understand it probably even deeper.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in a way, I'm kind of a dev, but I've been a dev, but I've never done anything like that.
I mean, so is Zoo.
I don't believe that.
He gave himself the developer role. I mean, him and I both had we almost had a hand in PickleOS. So
you had a hand on the pickle.
If we got Black Sterf back on here, he maybe if he joins us.
We need to. Somebody needs to check in on him.
Be a dev yet?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So you guys want to talk about something fun or Shem? Yeah.
I will be sad if Onion OS stops. That will be the line that I cry.
What happens? Wait, what?
If Onion OS were to ever stop development, that would hit me right in the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one is such a special OS. Okay. Also, I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Steam Deck now has a way if you want to get some modding tools together.
I love crazy stuff like this.
Andrew on our website, retrohandhelds.gg, put this article out. He made this contraption with a dual screen for Steam Deck, and he shows the whole process here, how he did this, and supposedly it works pretty well, and he really enjoys it. PC World picked this up today, and we saw this showing up in general Google News. We're like, dang.
I actually saw it come up in my Google feeds. I was like, wow, this is cool. It's awesome.
That is really cool.
Andrew's one of our new writers, and I was like, dude, this is awesome. I love passion projects like this. Shem,
I love what sorry, go ahead.
No.
Yeah, it's great.
I was gonna say, I love how we all just keep trying to find new ways to play 3DS games. That's not a 3DS.
It's not a 3DS, I know.
And yet, the best option is sitting right behind me in my drawer.
It doesn't have OLED. Come on, throw it in the garbage. What are you doing?
Surface Duo. I'm just saying.
Surface Duo. You got OLED on there. Yeah, you're OLED. Your OLED filled up. I don't know why I thought you would have a 3DS itself.
Always.
It's so good.
I always come prepared.
Your Duo. I saw Russ's video with the Duo the other day with his X2S. He put the sweet D-brand skin on.
Yeah, I've seen that. It looks really nice.
Yeah.
And Admiral Gonzo said that thing has Shem written all over it. Yeah, it does for sure. I would love to do something like that.
This is the Shem-esque handheld.
I like how clean it looks from the front, and I hadn't actually seen the shots from the back. That's hilarious.
It's very
like a whole PC on there.
It's nicely photographed.
Yeah.
Like right here, you would never know.
Though.
Yeah. This is way too cool. I, for a split second, thought about doing this to my Steam Deck, and I'm like, I'm way too OCD about the look of it. I'm not going to be able to contend with,
love that.
with all that back awesome. There. It looks like what are the two pieces that are holding the screen up? It's like a hinge based.
Yeah.
Looks like
thingamajigger
they use like on like athletes or whatever. What's that called?
JT tape?
Something, I don't know. It's what it looks like. I don't know why it reminds me of that.
Amazing. Yeah. Like a U-green dock or something up top.
That's about to be really good for Wii U.
Is that?
Yeah, really good for Wii U. For sure.
Yeah, I hope the screens are matching OLEDs. The perfect handheld doesn't exist. Wait, yes, it does. Oh, MagSafe magnet. You're using magnets, the technology invented by the universe and the ancient ones to rule the galaxy. Magnetism. Yes. Thank you, Andrew. This is
there.
Incredible.
You go. That's what I was thinking of. What Admiral said about looking like a knee brace.
yeah, it does.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to say what I thought it was, but yeah, that was a knee brace. Well, that sounds right. Aish, you look like a Canadian today, says Tech Dweeb.
Yes, and I'm replying yes because Canadians are just no Mexicans.
Okay, well, anyways,
I'm Mexican.
On.
It's okay.
Oh, right. Excuse, I don't know. Hey, no. You know what? Also, here's a topic change. PS4 emulator. That's a thing now. An actual working one. Andrew, the very same man who brought us the Steam Deck DS, shows us Piss Off. The name of the emulator is PS Off for x86 handhelds, and he got it running on his Legion Go, and pretty well. I think he was playing Worms on there, and it's running commercial games, but it's not ready for prime time. It has many bugs. Don't expect the world from it yet, and it's somewhat of a complicated setup process.
Yeah, there's actually 2 in development from what I was seeing. One is an actual emulator, and one's a compatibility layer. Kind of like what the Steam Deck does with Windows.
CS4, I think. I think it's or something along the lines of one of the other emulators. I think it's from the same dev team or whatever. So yeah, it looks like we have 2 of them in development now. Which I mean, we kind of knew this was going to happen at some point.
Yeah, I mean, most modern consoles now are just PCs anyway, so they're running AMD GPUs and so in theory, a compatibility should work. But what I think Sujano actually covered this, where he was saying that it looks like the emulator itself is probably going to get working before the other one, the layer works, which is surprising to me. Yeah. Which I guess Sony is probably going to get ahead of this because they're making a pretty good push towards PC right now, to where it looks like a lot of their games are actually going to be making the jump without having to wait years for it to happen anymore. And I think it's smart because if people are figuring out like, hey, we can get your games running on PC, like they need to get on top of it. It just kind of happened with the Spider-Man 2 leak, where people took that game and now they're unofficially porting it to PC.
Yeah, speaking of, Ghost of Tsushima is coming to PC. They announced that.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited. I always wanted to play that game. It looks so cool. And I was about to buy it the other day on my PS4, and I was like, dude, I'm just gonna stream it. I'm not gonna wait. And then it got announced. I was like, no,
it's a great game, and
yeah,
it's gonna be awesome on PC. I'm so
excited. It looks
For
awesome.
that.
Samurais.
Are you ready? Are you ready, Aish, to talk about? Yes. This is a tough one, everybody. So let me just get serious here for a second. We've never covered sort of real world stuff like this before. Deaths, all that. It's not fun to talk about. But we lost a real one. The man's name was Akira Toriyama, the maker and creator of Dragon Ball Z, Dr. Slump. Had a hand in Chrono Trigger, the Dragon Quest series. And he passed away at the age of 68. And that is just really sad to hear. Aish, I know you said you were kind of deeply touched by this one.
Yep. I grew up with his work, mainly Dragon Ball. Like I remember being a kid and I've watched, I was telling you guys earlier, I've watched Dragon Ball multiple times, Dragon Ball Z, both versions, the original Enkai. I've watched GT multiple times, Dragon Ball Super, the movies. Like this man was probably the biggest influence in my childhood growing up watching animated shows and playing video games. I'm a bigger Dragon Quest fan than I am a Final Fantasy fan. So, and Chrono Trigger. I mean, I've spoke about Chrono Trigger on this podcast before.
How dare you? Did. How dare you, but I'll allow it. Okay.
Yeah, like everything he did had such a big influence, not just on me, but all over the world. And you can see his work touch pretty much every anime that you can think of that has any type of combat. His work is involved in there. Video games, fighting games, everything. Like he was huge, man. His art style is, you immediately recognize it, and just out of nowhere, like the way I found out, I saw I saw a random post on Facebook of somebody asking like, "Hey, why did the Dragon Balls turn to stone?" And I was just like, "Oh, somebody make a wish," because in the anime, when they use the Dragon Balls, they turn to stone for a year and then you can use them again. But when Kami dies, which is the Earth God Kami, they just turn to stone and stop working. So I didn't know that. I just saw it, and then the next day I realized like, oh crap, he died. He passed away. He was only 68. He was working on more things. There's a game that's going to come out that was based on one of his older shows, Sand something. That was one I was never too big into, but there was still more from Toriyama coming, and just to lose him out of nowhere, like there's only been two people that have celebrities, I guess you can call them, that have actually been sad when they passed away. Because for the most part, it's not that I don't care. It's just like they have no influence on me. And that was Robin Williams and Akira Toriyama. Those are the only two people that I've never met that I had a hand in my childhood that have passed away, and I was sad all of yesterday.
Yeah, and yeah, I've been reading a lot about the man, learning more about him later in life. Here, it's like I've enjoyed his franchises, but I never stopped to really learn about the creator before. I was never huge into anime, and so just reading just all of the different franchises he touched, and especially Dr. Slump. I love for that PS1 game, for instance. I haven't seen the anime, but I loved just the stories and the artwork, and you can tell it's that signature style that he has, and you see that throughout his different series. I'm like, oh, that's why Dragon Quest looks like this. It does resemble sort of the Dragon Ball idea.
Also, his sense of humor, like you could see if you get into his work, you can see a theme where he's having fun with what he's doing. Like Dragon Ball Z, of course, got serious, and it was some pretty violent scenes, but you could always see the jokes underneath that just carry out through all of his work. And that was the great thing about it. It's like you were going to see amazing fights, but you're also going to have fun, and there's going to be lighthearted moments, and the characters he was creating, we're going to touch you in certain ways. Like Dragon Ball Z, I don't think there's a more influential anime out, period. Some people can argue like, oh yeah, this is better, Naruto's better, whatever. At the end of the day, you can go to any country in the world and they're going to know who Goku is. And that's
right.
To this man.
Yeah. A lot of people and kids, woke up to Dragon Ball cartoons growing up and made them very, very happy.
Dude, I held my hands up like there's a part where he's making, in English it's called a spirit bomb. I watched most of my Dragon Ball Z in Spanish because as a kid, for part of my childhood, I grew up in Mexico. It's a Genki Dama, and I believe in Japanese it's also Genki Dama, and you would have to put your hands up. And I remember being a kid standing in the middle of the ring room like this, and my mom walking in is like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Goku needs me." And I was just, "Hey, I'm holding it up there, man." Like it was the moments, man, like the Super Saiyan transformation, the way the fights happened, like the high speed combat that was going on, it was epic. Well, and you can see it in the games too. Yeah, it was amazing. I could talk about this like forever, so I don't want to rant, but yeah.
No, you're good, man. I mean, I've seen just an outpouring just across the internet this week for the man, and it's like I'm gonna go back now and I think watch some more Dragon Ball, play some more games, and sort of
if you want to experience the main story and just have a fun game, play Kakarot.
Yeah, Kakarot is excellent. Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to add on that as well as Dragon Ball Z is like pretty much one of the only things I can think of in the entire history of the world that you could, every single culture, every type of person, like everyone from every corner of the globe loves this franchise, loves these characters, recognizes them, offers their spirit energy for the spirit bomb and all that, I did that too. Like everybody, every kid that grew up watching Dragon Ball Z did it. And I think that's amazing. Actually, I watched Dragon Ball Z as a kid, but my dad really couldn't handle it, all the yelling. So it was actually only last year that I actually dedicated all my time to watching Dragon Ball Z Kai from start to finish. And it is shocking how good that is. And if you've never watched basically from the start of the show to the end of the Frieza saga, I think that's probably one of the best pieces of entertainment media ever. Like it's shockingly good, and like the way that whole season wraps up is just amazing.
That was supposed to be the end of it.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And then also, Dragon Quest, of course, is a huge thing, and I played Dragon Quest 11 a couple of years ago, and that was actually my first ever Dragon Quest game. And from that one game, it has created like a lifetime of being a Dragon Quest fan. Like, I want to play every single game. I've bought all the spin-offs now. I've been playing Joker. I've been playing through a bunch of them. I think Dragon Quest Builders 2 is the only Minecraft clone that would ever make you cry. Because, you know, it's just so good. And, you know, the visuals are, you know, like you said, Aish, like it's instantly recognizable, but in the best way. You know, it's such kind of like a comforting style. And, you know, I think it's also really sad because we also lost the composer for Dragon Quest last year. So that franchise has kind of lost its, arguably, its two biggest influences.
That music for Dragon Quest, you immediately, as soon as those trumpets come in, you know what you're about to play, and it's so good. Oh, man.
Dude, Dragon Quest for Game Boy. I remember the first, I think it was like the 1 and 2 on one
Dragon
cart.
Warrior 1 and 2, yeah,
it was Dragon Warrior 1 and 2. That was such an influential game to me as a kid.
Did you ever play 3?
I haven't played 3. No, so I need to play 3.
So the Dragon Quest games, they usually come in trilogies. So 1, 2, and the third game wraps everything up in a really cool way. I'm not going to spoil it, but that game, that's the only game that gave me, like, when I played Pokemon Gold, the reveal of Kanto was like, what? That was like mind blowing. Dragon Quest 3 does similar things. So if you've never played it, definitely give it a go. Use them if you have to use experience cheats. Do it. It's fine. With Dragon Quest games, they're meant to be grindy on purpose. So using cheats is a better way to play those games, just so that you don't spend it, 40 hours just trying to level up to beat one guy. But the stories are great. And I just want to throw this out there. Anybody that hasn't gotten into Dragon Ball Z that's curious, do what Shem did. Watch Kai. I watched the original Dragon Ball Z, which is over 300 episodes. And it was great as a kid growing up. That's the only thing we had. But going back to Kai was a little controversial at first because there were some voice acting changes and they cut some stuff out, but they cut out all the filler. So if you've never watched it, you just want to see it and you want a good streamlined experience that doesn't leave anything important out, just watch Kai. And then go into Super. GT is a different thing, so take it or leave it. It's not canon, but it's a fun watch too if you want to have fun with it.
GT is interesting as well because it's non-canon, but he really liked it as well.
Yeah, people
it,
were saying like, no, this isn't good because Toriyama didn't do it, and it's like, no, he was a big advisor for GT. Like he played a big role in it. He just wasn't like the main guy calling the shots for that one.
Yep. Well, man, clearly had just a huge influence across anime, manga. I'm sure I'm supposed to pronounce that manga. Aish, you're going to teach me how to do this one day. I'm going to be an anime fan yet. I'm going to play some games, though, and honor the man and get to know him. This is, you know what? Death doesn't have to always be a sad thing. It sucks. It's a bummer. But if maybe it'll inspire some new fans and to get into the franchises and just kind of celebrate what the man really was all about and trying to get across. So
it's also one last point here is we got the new Dragon Ball Z Budokai coming out. Amazing. That is going to be credit card slam on the table day one purchase. And the Budokai series on PSP is one of the best things to put on your retro handheld today.
It is.
And Tenkaichi Tag Team has like 60 characters. Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. Also, if anybody hasn't played it and you just want a fun 2D fighter that just gets wild, Fighter Z is awesome. Because even like the big combos, you don't need to learn any crazy like combinations. Just press a button and you're going to be blowing up the whole screen. It's just a fun game. Even on Switch, it looks great. So wherever you can, give it a go. I think it's actually on sale right now, like $9 for the whole thing on Steam. Yeah. So definitely pick it up even if you're not a Dragon Ball Z fan, if you just want a fun like 2D fighting game.
And maybe we'll get a true remake, not just a remaster of Chrono Trigger.
Or we could just not.
Or we can leave it be. Just leave it as is.
Just leave it be.
We'll just...
A 2D. I don't know. I still kind of want an HD 2D remake of Chrono Trigger.
Well, let's get Dragon Quest 3 out first.
Okay.
They're working on it. Yeah.
Then Chrono Trigger. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So do you guys want to talk about? I want to call it e-waste of the week, but I don't know yet. Shem's going to enlighten us about the E6 Plus handheld. So, so that's the E6 there. And we'll take a look at that in a second. But first, I wanted to gawk at this. This is the E6 Plus, reportedly having a RK3566 inside of it. There's a purple Eva Evangelion colorway, and also this red, which is really hot. Is this really happening? Because Shem, I see you have your E6 there. Last I heard, you got a rock in the mail. So how'd you?
Yeah, no, I received an empty packet, but I did see somebody that got a rock. Yeah.
Okay, empty packet.
Yeah, so I think the deal with that was that AliExpress sellers had it up really, really early before they had the product, and they get punished if they don't ship within a certain amount of time, allegedly. So they were just sending out empty packets. But yeah, it did end up being real. It's right here.
Oh wow. Okay, so the E6 is real. I saw ETA Prime review it, but beyond that, I haven't seen a lot of it.
So it's an interesting little guy. It's not active cooled, despite what it looks like. It's even got a vent at the top, which is hilarious. There is potential here because they ripped off the Steam Deck shape, right? But it's really comfortable to hold and to play on. It really is. Like, genuinely it is. It's kind of like the spiritual prequel to the new RGB 10 Max 3, because it feels very similar. But it has some problems. So first of all, it has this really bad front end on top of, I think, Android 8. So it's definitely outdated already.
And it has an RK3326 chipset in that version, right?
326 in this one.
Yeah. What's the price? How much did you get that for?
Mine's like $40 shipped. It's down there. But actually, it's actually a pretty nice looking and feeling handheld. It feels great to hold. It's comfortable. It's got nice grips.
It sounds awfully rattly.
It sounds hollow.
No.
Oh, no.
I think that was me knocking my mic, maybe.
Well, I thought it had to be pretty bad because even ETA Prime was dunking on it, and he doesn't dunk on things.
Yeah, so that was what I was going to get to next. Oh my! I just noticed that my two analog sticks are different. Hold on, wait. I gotta focus on this.
Nice.
Wait, what is this?
Hold on, look. Okay, switch style.
Switch style. Switch style.
Okay,
there it is. There it is.
Yeah, I see it.
And then like Anbernic-esque Gilly Kit style.
Oh, good. So maybe you have a Hall stick on the left, but a regular Switch Joy-Con on the right.
Nice.
I just noticed.
Oh no! How's that floating D-pad? Does that feel good?
No.
Okay.
So that's the other problem. So it's not that bad.
Okay.
Face buttons are fine. It lights up real bright. So bright that it's kind of blowing up my camera. You can't change or turn off the LEDs though.
Is that an OLED?
No. So the thing is though, it comes with this crappy Android front end, but you can actually just uninstall it. It takes a little bit of legwork with like a USB hub, but you can do it. And then you're just on stock Android. Like in fact, more than stock. Like it's literally just that minus PPS.
Like clean ROM. That's just
nice
and clean and nothing loaded in there, and that's good, right? So
is it a touchscreen?
Is it touchscreen though? Thankfully,
it's not touchscreen. And there's no Bluetooth or Wi-Fi.
Oh, come on, man!
And it gets worse because I installed RetroArch first thing I did.
Yeah,
but the controls have been coded in wrong and bad, and so RetroArch actually detects two gamepads.
No.
So you can either map the D-pad or you can map the face buttons. You can't map both.
No.
And for some emulators, they don't care what controller is attached, and you can just map whatever button, and that works fine. But with RetroArch, you can't do that. So is there potential? No, but yes. Like I like the shape; feels good in the hands. It's
LED lights. That's fun.
LED lights, kind of cool. There's actually an Amber Elec build floating around on the RH Discord, which apparently is working okay right now. But the problem is the default emulators are awful. The stock Android build isn't great. It's Android 8, so it's way outdated.
Yeah.
And if they're going to release a 3566 version, it has to be better than this. It just has to be. This is kind of like an e-waste first grade thing. Is fine. But if they're going to put an actually decent chip in this time, I really think they should try and do something better than this. But I don't hate it. It just should. It's not the kind of thing where I'm thinking, okay, there's potential. I'm more thinking, okay, the people that made this don't care. They ripped off the Steam Deck, and that part worked. Everything else doesn't.
Right. The look of it they got right, and it does function as a handheld mostly. It just doesn't really all come together into one package you would want to use.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Well, echoes of the data frog there.
And I asked the creators if they would send me a review, of the E6, and they said of the Plus, and they said I can buy it when it comes out. So,
okay, you're welcome to purchase it.
Yeah, exactly.
This actually kind of looks like a frog.
I got that same.
You really look at the face; it kind of looks like a frog.
It's a little frog.
Yeah, it does. You're right. Yeah,
it's a little bit. I had the same thing happen with the maker of the Magic X XU10.
Yeah,
from Ampone, and it's like, and they're like, "Hey, we have a new firmware coming out for the XU10. I want you to make a video about it immediately."
Pass.
And it's like, "Oh, okay, so send one over because then I'll do what I can do with it." He's like, "No, you already have one. I watched your video." I'm like, "If you watched my video, you would know that my speakers 100% do not work because they broke during that live stream or during that video." And I didn't hear back from them, so I'm just gonna let that one go. Anyways, this E6 Plus, though, I mean, I hope that we get something good out of it if it's the right price point. I saw the AliExpress listing tentatively at $70. I saw the purple Eva listed.
Yeah, you can actually get the purple Eva regular E6 right now. You can buy it.
Is that the $68 one?
Maybe.
There's a big price jump between the two.
Yeah, maybe. But the Eva version, the green, the black, and the white are all available on AliExpress.
Probably. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what that email is about. But sometimes these people who reach out are like, "Hey, we've seen your awesome video," and then I'll test them a little bit with the knowledge. Like on Zoo's videos, like, "We've seen your amazing videos." I'll ask them a question about Gary, and they're like, "What the hell?" I'm like,
"Yeah, I've seen your amazing videos."
You didn't watch a video. Yeah. We saw your videos about pet supplies. We love how you talk about your dogs on your video.
We get a recurring one for car stereos.
Yeah, I get that one too. The Android Auto stuff as well.
Yeah. We're like, dude, no, we don't do.
What do you?
Yeah, I told them I didn't have a car, and then they were like, "Well, maybe we can send it to you and you can review it anyway." I'm like, "How? Just tell me how I can do that." Like, I have no idea.
Did a company reach out about movie theater seats, like a whole row of movie theaters?
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
And they're like, "We'll ship this to you, cool. Review it." And I'm like, "That'd be sweet." I talked to my wife. I was like, "Wouldn't this be cool? We'll have a movie theater in the house, and we'll, I'll figure out a way to review it with a retro handheld. It'll be a kind of a fun thing." And ultimately, I did say yes to that. I was like, "All right, screw it. This is freaking crazy, but we can try it." And they never responded. You just never know with random brands that kind of reach out to cover stuff. So
I did want to say one last thing I really should mention about the E6. Shockingly, the creators have been in the RH Discord, in the E6 channel, talking and taking feedback, which is baffling for this random e-waste thing. So maybe there is actually potential here. I just doubt it.
Yeah, maybe they do care. This is the best they were able to do because the color scheme, at least somebody thought like, hey, you know what, this might be appealing, and they did the Evangelion one because there's got to be something there. If they do care, if they do listen, I hope they can make something a little bit better because I think if they're able to come out with something like in the $80 price range, but that actually works right, and ideally for this is Linux-based, non-Android, I think they could have something there. It was just right now, it just looks like, it kind of looks like one of those like water ring toys, we should talk about, where you just, like if you were going to press the sticks and it just shoots up little rings with water in it. That's kind of what it looks like. Like I get it. It's not easy to make a handheld. So I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh, yeah, it sucks. No, I'm sure somebody put some work into this, but there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, exactly. But I can't say I hate it. I just wish I could get it to work properly, And I think when that's the case,
you want to like it. You want to. I can tell you want to enjoy that.
When you hold it in your hands, you can see the grip on it. It's comfortable. The triggers are great. And Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
in their second effort. Retroid's RP1, not the best. RP2 was quite a bit better. So
it looks like a really good setup for shooters, but unfortunately, it can't run any. The triggers and sticks look like it would be a good setup for like a shooter, but I don't think there's a single one that would run on that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
we have the video too, Rob, of this crazy thing.
Do we have it up, or do you have it?
It's on the notes there.
Let me hear. I got it. This is brace your ears, people.
Beautiful colorway, though. They definitely did something right there. The screen looks better on this one. What the hell?
The screen is better on the
For a werewolf in the background?
There we go.
It's people were calling it the Joker edition, which I think is pretty accurate.
It looks a lot like Amber Nick's 35XX OS.
Yeah. What is going on in the background?
Sounds Jesus, Rob, reply to people.
No, never.
Wow.
Okay, no more of my Discord.
Okay.
Start answering people.
Sounds like two owls just going at it like what happened on the podcast so many years back. What in the world? Can we hear that again? Rob, can we listen to that one more time? Just for my own.
Oh, you just want to see my Discord.
My own weird eccentricities.
Team Pandora, I'm not Canadian. If you're wondering, no, I'm not. I'm not Canadian.
Not Canadian.
No.
Okay.
It's because you're wearing your lumberjack shirt. That's why they.
Because it's warm, comfy.
It's not cold where you are.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Dude, we got soft in Southern California. Like I think it's like in the low 60s. That's cold right now.
Hey, you guys want to interview our guest? His name's Shem from RetroBreeze.
Hi, Shem.
Hey,
hello.
Shem from RetroBreeze. It's time for the segment called Questions for Shem. I'll begin. Hello, Shem. What's your thoughts on tablet gaming? How's that PS Portal at home going?
Okay, so I recently discovered tablet gaming, actually, and I love it. I think it's absolutely great. I love having, retro games on a tablet. You can just take the tablet with you anywhere. It's like a little TV, plenty of space to look at to play multiplayer or not, or whatever. And I think it's great, and I love it. And I wanted to take it a step further, as you know, so I'm going to reach over here.
Yeah,
and this is my PlayStation Portal at home.
Ooh.
So let me just bring some. Here's one I prepared earlier.
That's your not G8
I'm
Galileo.
I'm going to slow-mo that so I get your code.
Look at that.
Sorry, it's a little bit greasy. Just give me a second. So here we are. Playing Dragon's Dogma.
Yes, you
Hold on, wait. This controller's a little sketch. Let me just unsketch it. There we go.
That's not the G8 Galileo. That is the lookalike. Or that is the G8 Galileo sold under a different name.
That is correct. Yeah, this is the Red Magic Shadow Blade 2.
Shadow Blade 2.
Playing Dragon's Dogma at 120 frames a second.
Oh, yeah, you
Streaming
are.
from my PC, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, I love this setup. I think it looks silly. I think Sony...
it looks comfortable.
Sony kind of made it, and it was really silly, and everybody laughed at them. And then I tried it, and I was like, holy moly, this is awesome.
It's nice sometimes to have just a big honking tablet.
Yeah. And the thing is, this might be kind of silly, and that's fine. I actually agree. Hold on, this is super sketch. I'm going to try and do this without making too much noise.
It's time to get weird, everybody. We're getting weird with Shem from RetroBreeze.
8-inch tablet.
We're just going to
pop our 8-inch tablet in here.
He's a dev. He can't be stopped. We're going
to stir this a little bit.
He's wearing a nice sweater.
Let's pretend that auto rotation is on and I'm actually playing this game. But here you go. You've got an 8-inch tablet with a great controller. You can take it anywhere. You can have the controller in your bag and use the tablet for productivity. Slap the controller on and play Sonic Heroes. I think this is a great form factor, and I think everybody should try it.
And it's a zero latency setup because you're direct connected.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And this tablet is the AutoCube iPlay 15 Mini Pro, which has a Helio G99. You can get most GameCube running fairly enjoyably. even some Vita and PS2, and I think it's great. Does that answer your question?
I've been using my iPad that way. I've played most of The Last of Us Part 2 just on streaming it to my iPad with that controller. After I watched your video, I was like, oh, I got to try this.
Yeah, Aish is very, very excited.
Yes.
Yeah, I really want to get an iPad and play it because that seems awesome. But you know, Sony did it. This kind of thing exists now, and now One X Player is doing it with the X1. It's a cool form factor. You know, it's not the most portable. It's not something you're going to want to whip out in a cafe, God forbid. But for just playing around the home when I don't want to be sat at my PC, it's awesome.
Well, much more versatile than the PlayStation Portal. That's the key thing here.
Yeah, and I think actually it shows how much of a wasted potential the Portal. Or no, I think that's unfair because the Portal is what it is, but there's room for improvement in this form factor, I think. Yeah,
I liked the Portal. The screen was the only thing that I couldn't get around, and I couldn't keep it. But I liked the idea of it, and it was so comfortable. So, but similar ergonomics to a Galileo G8. So,
and also I think one other thing, you know, that bigger tablet I was using has a 120 hertz screen. I don't think there's another handheld you can get that has that high refresh rate right now, especially at such a huge screen. So, yeah.
Tech Dweeb is bombing the comments right now. With
I always love reading his comments.
That's good.
They're wild every time.
That's good.
Portal was new to try and prevent emulation. I mean, maybe.
I don't think so. I think with the price point, like $200. Look at how much an Elite controller from Sony is. It's $100.
Yeah.
How they're putting a screen in the middle of it and trying to give you decent battery life because all of the same features from a DualSense are there. I think they're just for that price, they really weren't going to do more.
Yeah.
Well, that question was from Ban, and I think he feels good about this now. He has another question for you though. He wants to know, what are you excited for this year?
A lot of stuff. I think in terms of life, a baby is really exciting. It's happening in August, so that's cool.
Yay, congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you very much.
Oh my gosh, you're going to be a dad. You have your dad jokes
awesome,
ready?
Dad.
I do. You guys know I've got my dad jokes ready.
What color V90? Color V90 you want?
I want the red one, but that one red one.
Oh, we're never going to find that, but we'll try it for your child. For your child. I'll climb to the top of Mountain Doom for you. Yeah.
I'm also excited for My Head's Gone Blank. Something that's coming out soon. Dragon's Dogma 2, I'm kind of excited for that. I'm excited to unbox these One Piece Special Edition Fly Digi controllers. I got those coming out. I'm actually excited for Fly Digi to expand into Western markets because they're doing that. Their controllers are freaking awesome.
Are we going to see one of those I'm quitting YouTube videos from you in August?
No, I don't think so. I don't know, I might just slap the baby on the top down view while I'm testing split it right and go for it. But yeah, I mean,
boom arm. Yeah,
it's a good point though. You know, I do need to rethink my approach, shall we say, because I already don't have time to do this. So
it's funny, and I think this is your first kid, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Yeah, you're definitely going to need a little time. I remember that. It's a lot. It's a big life change, but I think by the second, third kid, you have a baby, and you're kind of like, I need a project. I need something to keep me sane through these long nights and long hours of, taking care of baby and all that. And so you find yourself actually getting even deeper into some of these hobbies. I found anyways. I mean, this podcast started during baby times. So
yeah. But yeah, exciting stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to think of those. I swear there was something else big that I was excited for, but I mean that's kind of.
Oh, Stubbs Nubs, was it?
No, we haven't talked about it yet. I was trying to push that out for a while.
I know you've avoided it now for like a year or something.
Yeah, well, every time I was watching Retro Funtex Stubbs Nubs video, and I was like, oh yeah, I got to remember to not reach out about those for another.
I haven't had a chance to corner you about this yet until just now, but
But ironically, I've been trying to corner you to return my call and get me on the podcast for like 6 months. So
I know. Yeah, we had booked out last season all the way through.
Yeah, well, yeah, apparently.
Yeah, I know. And now, you're one of the first guests on this season.
Well,
I
don't know if it quite makes up for it, but
I'm sorry about.
I'm glad to be here.
Please accept my shortcomings.
That's great.
I love you just with 35 X.
That's so good.
Just
rubber pads.
We love having you on, and if you're thinking that we were mad or something that your Loki didn't crash in 30 minutes or RGB 10 Max didn't crash in 30 minutes, I thought that was the most entertaining thing ever, and I couldn't wait to have you back on.
It was good. Thank you.
That's why we're doing it differently this year. This year we're scheduling guests like up only maybe 2 weeks in advance, so we can actually have ad hoc. Okay, let's bring a buddy on. Let's go have some fun, and we're doing it every Monday.
Yep.
We can have more episodes.
Yep. Good stuff. But yeah, I love hanging out with you guys, and I wouldn't be where I am today without RH, and our tentative ad hoc, not quite official relationship. I like it.
It's an official relationship. You're an RH YouTube partner, sir.
Thank you.
You have the Breeze buddies inside of the Discord.
I do.
And
they are great as well.
All of our hearts. And also, just let me know what color Stubbs nubs you want. I'll get you whatever size you want.
Can we call them Relievers?
Switch. Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
The RetroBreeze.
RetroBreeze.
Yeah.
Relievers. This is about Shem, not about me.
RetroBreeze Relievers.
RetroBreeze.
Good follow-up question from Joey. What does the RetroBreeze smell like?
It smells like the original Odin Pro did after I put Windows on it as like a test, and the fan thing, I forgot to install the fan thing, so the thing got so freaking hot, the whole thing like self-destructed more or less, and it smelled really bad. But then it's unfortunate. Still worked.
The RetroBreeze.
Yeah, that's kind of what it smells like. Or the beach in Outrun. Take your pick.
You give me the vibe of mahogany smells.
Because of my autumnal palette.
Yes. Like mahogany and
Mr. Bean sweater.
You kind of look like if
I don't care anymore.
Like potpourri.
It's a good thing.
Like the potpourri essence about you. Maybe a little bit of patchouli? Is that
sandalwood? He's a
sandalwood.
Sandalwood, yeah.
Sandalwood? That's distinguished.
Yeah, that's good.
Very distinguished.
Yep.
Well, that was a good question, Joey. Thank you for the question.
Yep.
From Mikhailov, why are you like this?
I don't know, really. I think I repress so much in my videos that it just kind of comes out when I'm live. So
I appreciate the person that you are, and Mikhailov, I know, is going to ask that for every single guest. He's promised me that's going to be everyone he's going to ask that question. So please
actually, give a little bit more meat to that question. I was talking to Aiden the other day, and it was after we did our podcast recording, and I mentioned to him, and I mentioned to you, I put an absurd amount of comedy in my videos, and approximately none of it makes it into the video because it's all a little bit too psychotic and like referencey.
So you
and like deep cut. So if you watch my Twitter, it all goes on there.
Yeah,
but I've been trying to incorporate a bit more. Like the other day, I just tweeted the default name that you get in Outrun 2006, like the OTR or OR2C2C 11111, because that's what my guy always ends up being called in that game. And to me, that was like the most exquisite tweet I could manage. And I was going to actually mention it in a video, but it comes across a little bit different.
I enjoy your Twitter and your sense of humor. Well. I think you should put more of it in your videos, not less, honestly.
Yeah, I am trying, for sure. I have a good one up for these One Piece controllers. I'm going to try and really... And also, April's coming up, so that's going to be good too.
And Psychotic is the best. 3D Printed Studio is correct. Just some of my favorite memories of this podcast are times you've been on where it's you drop these little dry quips that I don't know where freaking lose it. Sometimes I'll come back to it late at night and be like, why did that guy say that? Oh, he hates Windows. But I can laugh about it with you, even if we don't agree. It's funny.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mikhailov. Excellent question. Also from Mikhailov, what's life like in New York? From the population to the eats to the stores.
I've heard that New York is full of rats, and I don't. No, I'm just kidding.
That's probably a better question for me.
Rob.
So Old York is lovely. I love living here.
You're in Old York.
I'm in the OG York. It's the one that's in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And
are you the Duke of York?
It's the real one.
No.
Okay.
But York is great. It's lovely. It's a beautiful city. It's a chill city. It's very, very, very safe. And yeah, we love it. We live the cafe culture here. So this music's very nice for that. Just sipping on our latte.
I just realized that I said New York when I meant to just say York.
Yeah.
Or maybe Tom York. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Wrong.
We've got it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's good. It's a really beautiful city. You should come visit. Has its own fair share of problems, but it's safe. It's chill. Very busy, but yeah, good.
So it's Tijuana. You should come visit.
Sounds pleasant.
Yeah, I would love to. Yep.
Very, very safe.
Yeah.
Also for Mikhailov, if you ever meet Mikhailov in real life, what's the first thing you would do?
I mean, he's such a chill guy. I can't really think of anything crazy, so just like chat the Loki, maybe. That's
no
like
hug
the most
or
reasonable. Oh yeah, you know,
fist
the usual
bump or
where's the Predator thing?
British nod.
You know, that thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
perfect.
Just oiled up.
Yeah, with the biceps and
just oiled up all the way.
Yeah.
Dab him up. Dab him up.
Yeah.
He's done.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
real quick, I need to interject. Team Pandora, yes, I do like the fudge shop. I always get the free samples.
Nice.
Well, you didn't tell me there was fudge.
Oh, York is famous for fudge. It's everywhere.
I need to go there someday.
Judge Fudge.
In the UK, I've only been to London town and Brighton Beach, 2 locations.
Fair enough.
I've been to Brighton Beach in Brooklyn, but
So thank you, Bob. That was a great question. Russell Gamecore asks, do you play PAL or NTSC ROMs? And if PAL, why would you do that? And what is wrong with you?
Well, I keep my ROMs the way I have my ROMs set up is really weird because I back them all up onto my server and then they're indexed by search engines like Google and stuff like that. So typically it's the first result. Right, so whenever I Google my game, the first result is the one I use. Whatever that is, NTSC, PAL, whatever.
Wow.
That's the type of reaction that I'm looking for. So it's just exquisite.
And then he plays him on Linux.
Nobody understands. It's perfect.
Too smart for us.
Yeah.
Shem.
For real though,
NTSC is what I do.
Yeah, honestly, I have no idea.
What's whatever you have on hand. It's whatever.
Yeah, it's whatever was indexed by the search engine from my personal server.
Do you care which that you use? 50 FPS versus 60? Do you have nostalgic feelings about 50 FPS?
No, not at all. I mean, I think that the difference is really past now with, I think it was a bit different on CRTs because it was necessary, but nowadays, no idea.
Thank you. And thank you to Russ from Retro Game Core. Next, we have up, what is this? From Ban.
I need that.
This is a tablet creation that you have posted onto your Twitter.
Yep.
And it looks freaking awesome.
Yes, it is.
Tell us about it.
So I don't have it to show you because that seam in the middle ripped apart, and I just haven't gotten around to printing another one.
No.
But this is the older Cube iPlay 15 Mini Pro, and it is a 3D printed controller shell for it, right? To turn it into a dedicated games console. And so the cool thing about it is that it's all based on off-the-shelf parts, or rather, off-the-alley parts. And wait, that sounds really dark. Off-the-alley express parts. And so the idea is you have a USB-C hub, which has power delivery, right? And that's kind of on the back that you can't see. And then that goes into a Raspberry Pi Pico, or it's not a Raspberry Pi Pico, it's a Waveshare RP2041, which is a USB-A based microcontroller. That goes out to the controls, and then you have that. But the speakers on that tablet are really bad, so it's also going to have external speakers, and that's the idea.
Nice.
I kind of got stuck because even though the layout looks weird with the sticks way up the top, it really works for this size of handheld. But it makes the triggers really, really hard to position. So I was going to do it with analog triggers using Hall sensor modules, but that might be a bit too ambitious. So I think I might just go with digital triggers. But yeah, this is one project that I need to finish, and I really want to. So and if I can, because it's all off the shelf, I can share the parts and everybody can do it as well. But I seem to recall talking to you guys about my N-Gage controller, which is another thing that I really want to share with everyone and get it out. But
That's right. Yeah, we had a short even about that, I believe.
It's on my channel, yeah. And it's right over here. I've got it right here. I tested it the other day and it still works.
You're happy with it?
Baffling to me. Oh yeah, I was playing.
It's so cool you're making things like this. I mean, this is essentially what you're doing here is becoming a single handheld maker, much like the KTR1 dev or the Gameforce dev. And so, do you?
To be clear, I'm nothing like those guys.
I know. Well, I know that you're 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10. But I'm saying, when are you going to start your cult following? And when are we going to see the Discord server? I want to see people just up in arms over every detail over this device, and I want to be fan number one, super fan number one.
Yeah, for real though, I've really gotten myself into like a real bad backlog with reviews. So I need to get through all of those, and then I'm going to spend a lot of time dedicated to projects. So the N-Gage thing will be out.
Nice.
I'm going to open source all of it, so you can download the files, you can edit them, whatever. You can learn how to build one yourself. It's fully Bluetooth, battery-powered, USB-C rechargeable. It's awesome. You can play SSX on tour on your giant 32-inch screen, just like it was made to be. That
is so cool, man.
Yeah. So and then I've got this tablet project, and then I have another actual, like from the ground up retro handheld project. I'm calling it the RB2H. And I've done 2 videos on that already, but it's been like a year. I really need to get the third.
We need an update on it.
Yeah.
Well,
I need this tablet thing.
Yeah, I want to see more from you about this. This is really exciting. It is a lot of work to attempt to make something like this. Are you thinking of selling it once you're done and making more than one? Just one and done?
No, well, one and done, and then open source it so you can make it yourself. With something like this, it's
you just 3D print it yourself. You get the parts, build DIY, build it yourself kit.
Yeah,
and I'm going to review this.
Okay, we're definitely starting a cult around this. Yeah, this is. Yep. This is going to be muted.
Something that I really wanted to do is do it in a way that you don't need a custom PCB, right? So, like I said, all off-the-shelf parts. It uses USB heavily to make it all work and stuff. It's pretty fascinating. It's got like a Sabrent USB sound card inside to make the speakers work. It's pretty cool. And anybody could make it with a little bit of patience. So I'm very passionate about this one in specific, and I really want to get it done.
So Rob, will you print me one, and we'll tag team?
Yeah, we need to dig into this a bit more. This is really cool looking.
Well,
wait, what kind of sticks are you going to use?
They are K-Silver Hall Effect analog stick modules.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
So if you said switch sticks, I'm out.
No. I would never. I would never.
You know what sticks I wish people would use again? That it felt like it was just a one and done. The original Kishi sticks.
They were so good.
They were. I still love my Razer Kishi. Yeah. Like those are some of the best sticks on any telescopic controller, and nobody used them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, I really want to finish this project off, and the only part that isn't quite off the shelf is that it uses low-key buttons and D-pad, because I sweet-talked AYN into sending me some by telling them my low-key was broken.
Nice.
But I think I can convert that into maybe like Joy-Con buttons or something. I just wanted something a bit chunkier from my one. Yep.
Well, good question, Ban, and we're excited about this. Also, we have another question for you, Shem. What is this?
This is something really special.
What have you done? What have you done here? So this is an RP4 inside of attached to a FlyDigi controller.
Yep.
Okay.
It is at once it is proof that people take this stuff way too seriously and they need to chill. And secondly, a joke. I was getting comments like,
I want this.
Like, they were like, broken controls. No, I just stuck my RP4 in the thing because it looked funny. Chill, it's fine.
Now it's made it onto the news.
Yeah,
Sujano's going to report on this. Joey's going to report on this. CNN's going to report on this.
Yeah, exactly. But this isn't the worst one I've seen, because there was one with the.
Yeah, I thought you were serious. I was like, okay, this could be cool.
Did you guys see the one with the G8 with the RP4 in it?
No. What is it?
It was some.
What is it?
This is the best comment.
Where was it? It was either in the Discord or it was on Reddit. But yeah, somebody had the
the best comment
with like an adapter.
That's great.
And the RP4. Like,
we need to put that comment back on.
Yeah, that was the best comment.
That was amazing. This one right here. It's a two-player
one console experience for bros who want to hug and game at the same time. So yeah, you have one reaching over to play the RP4. Well, I guess they could sit on laps, like bro lap gaming. That's gonna be a new thing that happens now.
The Jeff Goldblum gif as one of the comments is definitely fitting.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
good.
This is probably the best episode this year so far. Now I'm having some fun. Thank you, Ban.
Follow Shem on Twitter. It's worth it.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Follow. Stop what you're doing. This guy makes the best jokes on Twitter, and trolls, not even unintentionally here. And now this is the resulting conversation. Follow him at RetroBreeze YT. Subscribe to him on YouTube at RetroBreeze YT. I don't know if he has an Instagram. I do not know.
I do, but I never use it.
You don't use it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But okay, you guys have encouraged me to go hard on Twitter, so
people are gonna be watching this Twitter, and I like some of your comments to brands. That's one of my favorite things to see on Twitter is your comments show up to various brands, and you just roast them to their face, and it's amazing. Like you're in the middle of even reviewing something from them, and you're just like, hey, what the hell? Why would you do this?
It was when I replied to Games. I sent GameSphere the link to my review saying, "Hey, my G8 review is out, thanks." And then went and commented on their like software setup tutorial saying you missed out the part where you have to sideload like illegal software onto your device like, immediately after. But yeah, it's good. It's good.
It's good. So the last question I have for you comes from Dan W, and then we have a couple audience ones. We're going to close it out here. But Dan W, our dear editor of this the audio version of the podcast, asks, Shem, I want you to say one nice thing about Windows.
Okay.
I saw that one.
Yeah. The thing is, I think Windows was really revolutionary. I think it was really, really, really good, and it has the potential to be really, really, really good. But the problem with Windows is just corporatism, right? They've really run it into the ground with, you can see this problem of it being run into the ground with corporatism in the user interface. So I always like this thing about the start menu, right?
Yeah.
It was easy to uninstall. That was a really good one. I should have just went with that. But anyway. No, I will finish. I will finish. But okay, the start menu, right? Do you know why the start menu was in the bottom left?
Why?
Because you could always find it, no matter what you were doing on your Windows PC, right? They said it represented infinity, because it was infinity possibilities, because you could always find start menu. But now they've moved it to the middle, because all they want to do is to present you content. Right. And yeah, so I guess that's kind of a double-edged sword, but you know, I actually have a real soft spot for Windows in some ways, but you know, being a retro dude, it's all the old stuff. I will say though, Microsoft, you know, like stuff like Flight Sim is freaking awesome. You know, there's a lot of Microsoft stuff that's really good. It's just, yeah. And also Windows Phone was amazing. Windows Phone was like the last sign of like Microsoft actually trying.
You could play The Sims on there.
Yeah. But now, you know, my issue with Windows right now, in general, can be summed up just in this whole telemetry, data collection, personal identification. It's just horrendous. And now add to that the shoehorning of AI into your operating system. It's awful.
Yes.
And if you've read the terms of service or the privacy policy for the Copilot stuff, it is mental.
I ripped it out. I ripped Copilot out only because it was eating up my RAM, and I figured it was doing something I didn't want it to be doing.
Yeah. And, you know, I also think that you sometimes you need to forego a little bit of familiarity or convenience to protect yourself more. And I really do think that with Microsoft and Windows, it's really getting to the point now, especially if they go through this credit card ID thing. You have to get out. Like, it takes like a week to get super used to Linux and be fine. But I know it's not for everybody. I respect that.
I'll say the same thing I said last year when we talked about this. When they make a good digital audio workstation solution for Linux, I am out. I can get out of Windows.
Yeah.
But I mean, sure, Reaper, but something fully featured like Reason, Propeller Head Reason. Then I'm good.
Yeah.
Because I love my Steam Deck. I love the OS on Steam Deck so much. I could use that as my daily driver.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Michael. Yeah, absolutely. Mike's Trackball Explorer, perfect. I can't believe they abandoned that. But I also want to say, you know, if all you're doing is gaming, there is absolutely no reason whatsoever to be on Windows. Like no reason whatsoever.
Except for the better games.
No.
If you want Suyu emulator, you're going to have to be on Windows right now.
I'm sure I can find a way to make it work. Most things work with a little bit of legwork, but you know, stuff like Steam, you know, Steam gaming is as close to perfect on, you know,
really good
because it runs what Windows is doing.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true.
Wait, what was the nice thing again?
That it used to be good. I think.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I agree. Yeah. Copilot, that's the one that got me. We're like, no, you're not. I don't want this on here. I can use Bing if I want to use Bing, but I don't need to have it Copilot built right into my start menu and doing whatever it's doing.
Yeah, you know, actually, here's wait, no, I'm supposed to be saying nice things. Well, I'll tell you this anyway. I recently got this laptop to test, which I'm testing right now, so I'm double duty here tonight. But I booted up into Windows, and like the weather icon is in the bottom left with like a notification. The bell icon has like a little red dot on it. There was like this little thing in the search bar that like flipped onto like a different picture. And then there was, and I was like, how much of like, what is going on? Like, what is all this stuff? Like, it's the OS itself is becoming a distraction rather than a tool to actually be productive. So yeah, that's my
I like it.
indeed sense.
It's called the future, man.
Dan W there. See? He's not all naysaying on Windows. There are some, or used to be, redeemable qualities.
Yep.
Okay.
If you want to use Windows, just use it.
Yeah, just enjoy it.
Images that you're not supposed to talk about publicly, like I do.
You're a brave man. You say it like it is. We need more of that in this world. We're going to answer a quick couple audience questions. And,
Windows Stubbs edition.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
good.
No.
Thank you, Dan. All right, Andrew, we're lightning around these ones. Question for Shem: how do you stay productive without getting overwhelmed?
It's really, really tough. I work a full-time job as well as doing this. I am very fortunate because I work from home and I have a flexible schedule, and that helps a lot. So most of my mornings I wake up really, really early, and I do something on a video. So a couple hours of recording or audio or scripting or something. Then I work, and then I do the rest in the evening. But I mean, like I was saying earlier, I've been really overwhelmed. I've really let myself, I don't want to sound like bloaty or anything. I've just received too much stuff to review. Like, I know I need to stop. And that has become, it's impacted the enjoyment I have of doing my channel because I want to do other things as well. It's really hard, but the main thing is I do enjoy it. It's really fun. This is my hobby. I basically don't do anything else. So yeah,
I think we can all kind of relate to that, at least as co-reviewers, where you're like, oh, I'll make time for this thing. You know, that thing looks cool, and then you have this shelf that builds and builds and builds and builds, and it becomes just a monstrosity mountain. You feel like you're trying to climb.
Yeah, I will say here are my 2 Sigma grind set life tips. Okay, which is number 1, cold shower every morning. Okay, legit. It's one of the best things you can do in your entire life.
Okay.
And 2, your second ultra Sigma grind set tip is you wear a collared shirt every day, and you get dressed every morning.
Just the act, the ritual of getting dressed makes you feel put together.
Yeah, because the fact that you called it Sigma grind set is cracking me up.
It's my Sigma grind set rules for life. And I think that those 2 things prepare you immediately for a day of productivity, and hopefully you'll become a millionaire and have a Lamborghini.
I'll try that.
That's the goal.
Yeah, that's the American, really international dream. Lamborghini was one of the best vehicles in Need for Speed 3 that you could choose.
Right. Other than a helicopter, right?
Yeah. Oh, don't forget to work out, do yoga, and invest.
Yes,
every day. Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew. Dorian Gray, thanks for your donation. Will the current situation in the emulation scene affect future handheld iterations from the likes of INEO, AYN, Ambernick, Powkiddy, and Retroid? Good question.
No, definitely not.
No, that's it.
Not at all.
Not. Yeah.
No. Listen, this whole thing's gotten blown way out of proportion. Yeah, it's not going to change anything.
It's very clickbaity in nature in general, just the whole topic, but it has had some temporary strong effects on many people.
It was just very public. That's it. And it's pretty fresh on everybody's mind. And I feel like we're also partially to blame because we made such a big deal about Switch emulation and all these handhelds and made it so prevalent within the community that as soon as Nintendo did what we all kind of felt was going to happen at some point anyway, it just kind of blew up. So now everyone's panicking. Some things kind of just coincide with what's happening. Like, hey, somebody's taking a step back, which always happens. Even the JelOS thing where they drop support for certain devices, some people are saying oh, this is probably just a response to what happened. Well, not necessarily. They've done this before too with other devices. It's nothing new. It's just people are very on edge about it right now.
Yeah, and I think that was a big part of the lawsuit as well, was to send a message to strong arm, to Flex, and you just ignore it.
Yeah. If Nintendo or one of these companies really wanted to go after emulation, they wouldn't have settled out of court.
Yeah, exactly. And also, if they had any legal precedent against emulation, they would have done it long ago, and we would be nowhere near where we are now.
Exactly.
The only reason they got Yuzu was because of the piracy and the alleged piracy and the alleged profiting on said piracy. And of course, Tears of the Kingdom having 1 million pirated downloads a week before release.
Yeah, that too.
It wasn't great.
It wasn't great. It wasn't the best.
Yeah. But I don't think any of these companies really want to risk going to court and losing. Would be a massive blow to them. I think it's better just keep things as they are. If somebody gets a little too cocky and what happened with Yuzu, they'll step in. But for the most part, really, the emulation scene isn't really hurting their pockets. Let's be honest.
Exactly.
Like, Nintendo is not struggling for sales or nothing like that. They've set records with the Switch. I think this is going to be this might end up being the most sold console of all time. Same thing with Sony. Microsoft isn't hurting for money at all. Like it's not bad. We're a blimp for them. Like it's nothing.
And of course, they've been riding the Switch for 8 years now without
an old
single
hardware
issue. Yeah. On a 15-year-old chip. It's literally a 15-year-old chip.
Yeah.
Meant. Yep.
It is nuts. A good question though. Joey's retro handhelds. Shem, what's your favorite system to emulate?
Yeah, that is a good question. I would say the one I do the most is just PSP. Like PSP shocks me all the time with how amazing all the games are. However,
Engage.
Yeah, I was going to say, of course, Engage is the other one. Engage is, my baby. And actually also just J2ME. I've been doing a lot of that recently.
Java.
Which is one of those project videos I really want to make that I've been working on for like a year, is how to set all that up. But yeah, actually, I would say mainstream consoles, PSP and actually Wii. I've been playing a lot of Wii on my Odin 2, which is just freaking awesome.
Plays it well.
Yeah, and I think that the Wii has like one of the best game libraries. Like genuinely, it's so good. And then the PSP is really good. And for me, Engage is just amazing. Love it. I'm still playing. I've been playing Xanadu Next on my Odin 2 for like every time I get on a train, it's now like my train game. I have no idea why that happened.
One Engage game.
Yeah, it's that. Yeah, it's weird.
I wish they would add that to more front ends for Android. I never see Engage. You always have to add it as its own separate little thing, like in Show and all that.
Yeah.
But
well, the cool thing about the Engage emulator is that you can actually create a shortcut for each individual game, so it's its own app icon. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I didn't realize that.
Yep,
I'm learning things. That's cool. I think you should take a break from your review obligations. Don't barrel through them. Take a break on that and do your passion video. That just my vote.
Yeah, maybe I will.
I should listen to my own advice though. I'm like, if I could get through this backlog, then I can start making stuff I really, really love that's not related.
You're going to get over the backlog.
I know.
yeah.
You're never going to. It just keeps on growing. You keep on accepting different things to talk about.
Yeah, my issue right now is, I've liked to diversify a bit, so the tablet thing is one thing. I've really enjoyed that. Because, like, for me, it's easy to feel almost like shillish sometimes. But, I loved getting a tablet and playing it. And so when that company is like, do you want to test our next one? I'm like, yeah, of course.
Well, yeah, you do.
And then also, the controllers as well. Like, I've loved testing controllers. And
telescopic controllers.
Companies are just throwing controllers at me right now, and I can barely say no anymore.
Because you want to see what each one does. They're all a little different. They're all have their own charm.
Yeah, that's what gets me about the controllers, is seeing how companies execute on the exact same thing in a slightly different way. It's really interesting.
We've had to start saying to companies,
tablet controller. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying we started saying to companies, like, we can't make dedicated videos on these anymore. There's just sort of a lot, and so we do shorts more often with them, or we feature them in content like the podcast sometimes. But the dedicated video, if we just did dedicated videos on controllers, oh my god, you just see controllers like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I almost bought a Gully Kit King Kong 3 Max today, and I was like, I can't.
Just wait.
I just can't add it to the pile, and I also can't have another box in my house.
Can't have one more box right now.
Yeah.
Good question. Tech Dweeb, if you were going to name your kid something other than a boring, normal person name, what retro handheld would you name him or her after?
I'm looking around at what I've got around here.
E6.
Nah, that's too obvious.
RGB 10 Max 3 heart.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. RGB 10 Max
never gonna let you down on camera.
Yeah, exactly. It's always gonna perform on camera. Yeah.
It's gonna be solid. Yeah.
Yep. I think I'm okay with this one.
Yeah.
Last question, Chigiver. What's a better investment, retro handhelds or crypto?
Neither.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally would say retro handhelds out of the two of them, but often you're not really going to make a profit.
No.
If you can usually resell them close to what you bought it for. Some, if it's not x86, if it's Android, if it's a popular Android handheld, you know, you can resell it. But
yeah, I just realized TechDweeb had the answer to the other question, which is Zazbizzle. That's the answer. Yep.
That's a solid name.
Zazbizzle is one of my favorites. Yeah, classic. It's kind of right up there with Clarice.
Yeah. That's actually what TechDweeb's mom calls me. So
that's nice.
When you visit for dinner every Thursday night.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
x86, yeah. x86 tends to immediately depreciate in value the day you get it.
Yeah.
And then probably doubling depreciation every month after.
Especially Ioneo, especially when they sell their own devices, 90% off.
I can't with Ioneo. I just can't do it. Like, you know, I did their mini PC, whatever. But I don't even know if I would accept one of their x86s to review, just because I know it's just totally irrelevant already, you know. I don't know.
Name your child the JXD Singularity.
That's a pretty good one, yeah. I mean, the Sony Ericsson Xperia Play, that's a pretty good one.
I'm the Singularity. Last question is from just the group here. We're going to do a group topic tonight of what's our favorite form factor, but we're going to leave that for another night. So last question just from us to you is, what's your favorite form factor of handheld?
You know, I think it's really boring, but I just like the old candy bar, you know, when it really comes down to it. And it was actually this one that made me realize that, because I didn't like the 35XX that much. I just loved this. In fact, I think if I turn it on now, I'm playing Worms.
Oh, Aiden's question was about that as well. I almost missed his, which was, why is the 35XX software so bad? 35XXH software.
That's not that bad. If you want to learn more, you should watch my review though. I go into a lot of detail.
Yeah. I completely agree with you.
Thank you for pivoting me to the end of this show, which is, please follow RetroBreeze on YouTube. Gosh darn it. It is at RetroBreeze YT there and on Twitter, where you'll have some of this classic, dry British humor that just tickles my fancy every time the gentleman is on here. Find him there. Follow Rob if you want.
Rob is great. I am a testament to that.
Rob is making his banger content. Check out his new video on the Intel Nuke, what that is like in 2024. That's one I want to catch up on. I'm building a NAS, everybody. Okay, my next project is building a home NAS. I've asked all of you guys already about this here, and I want to know and learn all about it. I want to get a Plex server going. So recommend me a good NAS setup. Mini PC, Nuke.
Yeah, actually, I'm genuinely considering replacing mine with a mini PC.
Nuke. I've always called it a nuke.
Intel does not have a nuke.
No, there's no nuke.
What do you guys call it? A nuke?
Just to the
nuke.
Yeah. To all the FBI agents watching, they don't have a nuke.
No, they don't.
No, nor do we.
Unit of computing, right?
For Intel.
Hey, we all pronounce things differently, and we do what we want.
Calling one for the throat on that one.
Oh no. Yeah. Okay, everybody. Well, let's wrap this bad boy up.
Oh, Jesus. Right.
Thank you guys for having me. As always, it was a pleasure. You have encouraged me to try the unhinged thing a bit more. So we'll see.
Be more unhinged, but you just let it out.
It works here for
such a short time.
Just make one of your episodes like The Office.
Just
that's a good idea.
Yeah, you have that vibe where, dude, it would be. Oh man,
chef's freaking kiss.
Oof.
So good. Well, thanks everyone again for watching us today. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for your weekly dose of handheld news. A special thanks as well to our channel members, patrons, and subs for making this show possible. Perks with RH start for as little as, guess what, $3 a month. Don't forget to check out our other videos, join us on Discord to chat and play games, and join us next week for Unhinged Zoo of Zoo Reviews to talk about Game of the Month updates and what we're playing this month.
No.
March 25th, we'll have Aiden Walls here for the first time. So Aiden, we're gonna be chit-chatting at 7 p.m. PST, a little bit later. And then April 1st, we're going to have Russ from Retro Game Core back on. And his appearance is not an April Fool's joke. I promise you. He will really be here. So,
that's exactly what you would say.
You'll find out.
And Aiden rocks.
Aiden's fun.
And it
was really fun. I enjoyed it.
His hair is fun. His hair is always inspiring me.
Beautiful.
That's what my hair was like before I reached like 14 years old.
Yeah.
It's okay. The more you lose up here, the more you'll gain down here.
Yeah, beard game's strong.
I hope so. I hope so, because yeah. Anyway, isn't the show over?
Oh yeah, the show's over. As always, this has been Stubbs on behalf of Rob, Aish, and Shem. Take care of those handhelds and each other. Bye.